This is Robert Bartolacci of the MindShare Learning Port here at the MindShare Workspace. Happy Monday. Just back from F1 in Montreal, where I experienced incredible innovation and excitement that keeps me energized to do my job every day. I love the growth mindset and the challenge and the competition. And I'm honored to have joined me a very special guest. Karam is our outgoing co-op student. Thank you for all that you've done this past term, and he's from one of the local high schools in the Dufferin Catholic District School Board, where my kids were schooled, and they are thriving. So I have good vibes for you, Karam, that you'll go on to do well in your post-secondary journey. But we wanted to reflect and unpack his experience here at the MindShare Workspace, Canada's first shopping mall located co-working space, where we embrace the future work and learning, and big focus on skills. As many of you will know, that I'm the co-founder and CEO of C21 Canada, Canadians for 21st Century Learning and Innovation. We created the 7 C's and this essential skills, if you will, to help kids prepare for a future that isn't clearly seen in the age of AI. So it's never been a more exciting time to be in education. And I think you'll be interested to hear from Karam himself. And as we have with other outgoing students on their journey and what they garnered from having been part of our community, our team. We threw a lot of challenging projects at you. We treated Karam just like any other member of our team, an employee, a full-time employee. And talk to me about what you perhaps thought it was going to be like, and as you reflect, what maybe do a compare and contrast to the two, Karam, on his final day.
Yeah. So first of all, thank you for having me. Thank you for all the opportunities you've given me. And I just want to start off by saying, when I entered this co-op experience, I had kind of low standards. I initially thought it was going to be a normal job, is going to go in, maybe design an ad or two and leave. But as I've come to work and realize how many opportunities there are to gain here, how many skills I can learn, how much I can develop myself, I kind of found that it's a lot more valuable than I initially thought. And I learned a lot more here than I think I would have in school. So
wow, that's a tall order. I don't want your teachers to feel bad about your learning experience, but talk to me about some of the projects, the hands-on learning, the working with Canva and multitasking, and how it perhaps helped you in your other academic work.
Yeah, so the number one thing we do around here is Canva projects, or at least number one thing I do around here is Canva project. I design ads and things, and this kind of helped me develop my skills for presentation making at school. So one of my most recent projects at school, I had to create an art portfolio since I'm going into graphic design. So I created this portfolio through Canva, and I definitely would not have been able to achieve the quality that I achieved without the experience I first gained here.
Well, I'd love to see the portfolio. You didn't share with me.
I can show it to you.
Yeah, that'd be cool to have a look at it. And multitasking.
Yeah.
100%. And your grades. How do you feel just in terms of the scheduling, the activities we had, and the conversation, being part of a team, and how learning to work in teams and leadership?
Yeah, so multitasking is one of the biggest things that are focused on around here. And through the skills that I've learned here in this placement, I find it a lot easier to manage my schoolwork and also study for things like exams. And I think that it's a lot easier because I've practiced it here in the workplace.
The notion of problem-solving skills that we always threw at you.
Yeah, that's true.
And you didn't necessarily feel comfortable talking to people when you came in. You're a little more introvert. How has your from a personality perspective and confidence level and your ability to, like, the whole communication piece of you being here, and just having the ability to have a conversation with me, and there's no script. So I think one of the valuable things when you know your content it enables you to speak freely, and that's why I rarely have a script when I do my interviews. And so, talk to us a little bit about that experience and how it impacted you, perhaps working because often you work in project teams, and you
Yeah.
will be when you're at OCAD. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Karam was admitted to OCAD University, which is a very top prestigious arts design school in Canada. So kudos to you for that. That's fantastic. I'm very proud of you, and hopefully we had a small role to play in that.
Yeah.
But talk to us about that.
Yeah. So, like you said, when I first came here, I was kind of shy and introverted. My communication skills definitely were not on par with everyone else's. When I looked at my coworkers like Hanan and Tarek, I kind of saw that there was a lot of room for me to grow.
Right.
And as I kind of started to communicate more, and I sat more at the front desk, and I started to talk to customers and clients, it became a lot easier.
Doing
tours as well, correct. It became a lot easier. I found that my initial fears, they don't really exist, kind of. They were just imaginary.
Yeah.
And I even found that it helped me through my schoolwork. Like, for example, my presentations, I find that I can speak a lot more freely. And
did you notice the difference between your peers who didn't get that kind of co-op experience in yourself?
100%.
Yeah.
So I noticed, like, through my classmates specifically, they did not feel comfortable speaking in presentations nearly as much as I have after this experience.
I think in the age of AI, the value prop for someone like yourself and myself in business is really about the ability to curate human ingenuity and communication and collaboration, working in teams, complex teams, solving complex problems is really vital to differentiating yourself when you're trying to find a job. Because, do I need a media person to write press releases anymore? No. Let's talk about that and AI and how we leveraged AI and what we had you use and how you're using it now. I always would offer for you to, leverage Chat GPT to help, create something or get inspired or leverage it for social media.
Yeah.
How does AI fit into your world now after the experience?
So many people say that graphic design jobs will be overtaken by AI. Personally, I think this is false. I see more AI as a tool rather than a replacement for me. For example, through my work here at MindShare Workspace creating ads, I found that AI, like ChatGPT, for example, can be very helpful. So I will take a picture of the ad I've created, for example, plug it into ChatGPT, and it will tell me things I've done well and things that I can correct.
Wow.
And I correct these things, and automatically the ad looks better.
And then it helps you create your social media posts
100%.
and leverage that through prompting. Talk to me about prompting, the importance of prompting.
Yeah, so a lot of the prompts that we have to give have to come from a place of thought. So you can't just throw a prompt into ChatGPT and expect it to give you a good answer. You need to think about what you want to say and what you need. So, for example, when I plug this ad into ChatGPT, I will tell it what's wrong, what's correct, how can I go about correcting my mistakes.
Interesting.
So this helps a lot. It even tells me if I've missed call to actions or anything I should add as well.
Fascinating. And how has AI been integrated in your school work, or what's the policy that your school has?
So many teachers at the beginning of this year, for example, many teachers looked down upon AI. They saw more of it as a tool of
cheating
like
tool?
escape. Yeah. It was like an escape tool for us. Personally, I don't see it as that anymore.
Right.
I see it more as a tool to correct my mistakes again. So if I want to write a paragraph, for example, I will ask AI to fix it for me or help me fix it. Same thing with my presentation making and just anything that I really need help with correcting and I don't have anyone on standby that can help me. Chat's a great tool for that.
Fascinating. So learning environments, work and learning environments here. People are doing hybrid work. People are able to work at home. What's the value prop that you see here coming into this space, the colors, the infrastructure, the furniture, compared to your school environment, not to knock Dufferin Peel, but some learning environments have not evolved in 50 years.
Yeah.
And my kids experienced that as well. So talk to me about the importance of having that ecosystem that really covers the bases to optimize your work and learning experience.
Yeah. So one of the first things is, like you said, it's vibrant. It's very spacious around here. And I find that space allows me to think a little bit clearer. Also, we have snacks and things around the area, which help a lot with
keep them nourished so they have the energy.
It helps with keeping energized, right?
Yeah.
And at school, I kind of feel that the environment gets kind of bland. Since we've been there for 4 years, I know the place very well. Here, it's kind of a new experience when I first came in, and I found it really easy to just walk in and work.
Were you surprised by what you found and the way you work here we have a workbench, we have all the latest technology, we have 3D printing, the touch screens, and you learn to interface with the tools.
That's true, yeah.
Right? And we using the tools, it's like a mechanic uses a wrench when they need to take a bolt off, right?
Yeah.
Or if I'm working at home. It's about using the right tool at the right time, just like AI. Yeah. It's not like you use it all the time, but you want to refine or you want to be inspired and get some idea generation going, create an image, etc. So hopefully that was all helpful to you and not overwhelming.
Yeah, I think it was good to learn all those skills.
And when it comes to offering advice to other students who might be thinking about co-op, what's important in selecting their co-op, co-op company or placement? Yeah.
So I think that the number one thing for future co-op students is to take it seriously. So you walk into this placement and you have to think to yourself, what can I learn here? What can I learn elsewhere? So you have to contrast and compare where you think you'll benefit the most. And I found that in MindShare, there's a lot to benefit from. So I learned a lot of skills. Like Robert had me not just do graphic design. He knows I wanted to do it, and so he helped me work on it. But he helped me do other things like taking out trash or getting more snacks for the bar. I think that
we all do a little bit of everything.
I think it was great to learn all these skills.
But other projects too that you had your opportunity to sink your teeth into, events and
business things as well. Yeah.
Learning entrepreneurship. Talk to me about entrepreneurship and how that inspired you.
Yeah. So I remember making a script for business calls. And I think that that's a very important skill for entrepreneurship. You have to learn how to market and how to kind of sell yourself in a way, sell your product, sell your service. So that's kind of something we do around here. Like when I give the tours, for example, I have to learn how to sell it.
Right. And you're basically selling yourself, in getting into university or college, your next job, right? When you're trying to land a job, you're selling yourself.
100%.
So I remember comments made by, in the past, well, people say, well, I don't like doing sales or I'm not a salesperson. Well, you're selling yourself. Guy Kawasaki, the former chief evangelist at Apple, who I've interviewed, he spoke at a conference, he wrote a book we read in our Masters in EdTech program. He wrote a book, Selling the Dream. And the whole concept is it's all about selling an idea. Whether you're a startup or you're an individual looking for your first job or the next career. Talk to me about career pathways, your passion for graphic design. We know that your first job is going to lead to something else. I started off as a sport information director. I worked as a community consultant on the Olympic torch relay. So I studied sport management. I pivoted to the business side at the University. Why? Ask me why I did that. I did that because I had 45 sports teams, PR, game management, and team travel for 45 sports teams. From mid-August to March, I absolutely had no life. So it was a great experience, I learned to multitask because you had to pivot. You had events going on. You'd be hosting a championship because your team went to the finals, and it was every day, every weekend from mid-August to March. And when I was getting married, I thought, what, quality of life, right? Like, so I knew that lifestyle wasn't for me if I was to be successfully married and have a family. So I pivoted to the business side of the university, running the business lines at York. And then I met, Kevin O'Leary through the chair of our board. And it all starts with a conversation. He said, Kevin is launching this software company for education. And we're just getting on the internet. And so we're just getting on the internet. And I said, tell him I'm interested. And I ended up being hired as country manager to launch the Learning Company School Division in Canada. What an incredible opportunity.
That's really nice.
So showing initiative, taking a leap of faith, innovator's mindset, if you want to call it growth mindset, always learning, always listening and learning. Listening skills are truly a skill. And we've talked about that. And the notion of problem solving, I think, you really stepped up and made a huge contribution to what we do here. As a result, your grades are going to be great and help you get into OCAD. I mean, you're in, but you have to. It's that final blessing. But final thoughts to share and inspiration for other students who are out there that probably need a little nudge and taking things seriously and discovering what they want to do. I think that's one of the biggest challenges that I keep hearing is kids don't know what they want to do today.
Yeah.
It's important to do a co-op to figure out that you don't like doing this or you don't like doing that, and you have a passion for something else. But have a passion, be practical. If you want lifestyle, what lifestyle do you want? Think about this. Have a vision. Mr. Everett in my consumer studies class in grade 12 said, your years of your 20s are the years of your could haves and should haves. The last thing you want to do is have regrets about what you could have done. So have a really clear understanding of where you're going. I went back to grade 13. I was in tech. I was in auto mechanics, and I got grease all over my pants. And I went up to Mr. Adachi. I said, Mr. Adachi, I'm going into business because I didn't like getting dirty. It was simple as that.
Yeah. And
I pursued my passion in sport management because I played hockey and I love sports. And you evolve from there. And here I am today, a podcast, a workspace in digital media marketing in the education sector. I never imagined I would have been there 30 years ago if someone told me. And here we are. We're helping upskill the next generation, like Karam. And we're so thrilled that you were here with us. And you're a fine young man and well-rounded. I think it's important to be well-rounded, have those essential skills that we talk about, the 7 C's. So with that, anything else to add?
If anyone wants to consider co-op, I think it's a great way to trial run your preferred profession. So I really want to do graphic design. Coming in here, now I know I want to do graphic design.
Well, I have to say, before we close off, I have to say you had a great mentor in Hanan Musa, who's a former college professor in the Middle East, who taught graphic design. So you were lucky to have her and a critical member of our team. Thank you, Hanan. Shout out to her. And with that, my name is Robert Mardlacci, the MindShare Learning Report here at the MindShare Workspace in Air Mills Town Center. And thank you, Karam, again for being part of our team, and keep in touch. And until next time, stay healthy, stay safe, and keep the learning curve steep.